Hi everyone, it's Jesselyn. Welcome back to my channel. I am so excited that you're joining me on this beautiful Monday for some more positivity and encouragement. But before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button below so you can stay up to date on all of my videos and any content that I post. Now, a little title for what I'm going to be talking with you all about today is Forgive and Forget. I'm sure that we've all heard this at some point in our lives. Basically, I'm just going to be talking about how any of the unforgiveness that we have been holding on to, we need to release it and let go of it, because ultimately we're hurting ourselves so much more than we are hurting the people that we are not forgiving. They're going on about their lives and doing whatever they do day to day, and they might not even be thinking about it. But you are still over here hurting and thinking about it, and you shouldn't have to be. So today I'm just going to be talking about that and talking about ways that we can just release unforgiveness and forgive people so that we can be our happiest, best selves. So without further ado, let's get into it. So, as I just mentioned, we are going to be talking about forgive and forget. This came to me this week when I was thinking about all of the times in my life that I just really burdened myself and made myself hurt even more because I was holding on to unforgiveness, holding a grudge on someone that was not even thinking about what they did to me or how they hurt me. And so really, I was just emotionally draining myself and hurting myself more every single day, thinking about how wrong this person was and how they should have known what they were doing was wrong. And it just became a painful cycle in my life that I just let keep going and going and going until I realized that God forgave me, and so I'm going to forgive these other people and let go of what was holding me back. Let go of that weight that was on myself because I didn't want to forgive them. I didn't want to look past what they did. But ultimately doing that gave me the most freedom that I've ever felt in my life. Honestly, when I was younger, around 13 to 14 years old, I really wanted to find out who my father was. I had not even seen him since I was about a year old, and he just left and went on to do his own thing in life, and I began to wonder who he was. So I ended up searching him out, finding him, and speaking with him, and after meeting him, it was very apparent that he was in a self-centered cycle with himself. He was thinking about himself. He was thinking about how his life could be better or stuff that he could do that would make him feel good and not me. He wasn't thinking about how I must have felt growing up without my father. When we did end up meeting and hanging out, the entire time he was asking me if I could watch my other siblings that my mother had so that he could be alone with my mother. He was not focusing on paying attention to me or saying sorry. And after that day, I really just didn't even want to be around him or to know him or any of that because I was hurt. And I wasn't just going to forgive him for making me spend my whole life without a father and then showing up all of a sudden and not caring whatsoever how I felt the entire time, never once apologizing. And it just blew my mind. And so all the way up until I turned 18 years old even, I had this major grudge for my biological father. I just felt like he had to have been the lowest of the low to behave that way, which of course, like, it's just sad. It's true, you know? He should not have been acting like that and should not have been so self-centered, but he was. And so I held this grudge and I was constantly thinking, I'm never gonna forgive him. I'm never gonna talk good about him. I'm going to go and blast his name everywhere I can about how horrible of a person he is and all this. But really, all that accomplished the whole time was just more hurt in my life and more pain that I had to go through because I was sitting there thinking about how horrible he was and how I couldn't believe that he would do this and I'm not forgiving him, while the whole time he's going out living his life and he's self-centered. So he's not thinking about any of that. He's not feeling any remorse whatsoever. So the whole time I'm carrying around a weight that I shouldn't have to carry because of what was done to me. But ultimately, just a couple years back, I ended up finding him on Facebook, and I just wrote him a long message, just saying really how I felt, but ultimately saying that I'm tired of holding on to that weight. I'm tired of wondering, why was I not good enough to have a father, or why he really didn't care, or why he didn't have it in his mind that what he did was wrong. And I wrote him a big long letter basically just saying, I forgive you, and I'm releasing you and letting it go. I'm not trying to say I want a relationship with you, because ultimately I feel like God didn't have him in my life because I needed to be stronger, and I needed to not have him as a bad influence in my life, because he was constantly on drugs and in jail. So had he even been in my life, he really could have set me on the wrong path and taken me down a bad road because of his example. And so ultimately I know that God did that for a reason. But I still forgave him, and I released him, and I said, I'm not going to let this burden me anymore. I'm not going to let this be a pain in my life and in my heart that I'm carrying around. So really, I would encourage you to do the same. If there is anyone that you are just holding unforgiveness towards, that you are holding a grudge, that you're holding hate in your heart towards that person, if you can't message them, then I would recommend you get a journal and you just write down you forgiving them. Write down a paragraph, write down the whole book if you are having those feelings inside that you just need to get out, and let them know that you're releasing them for your own good. You're not going to go around holding these weights anymore that are tearing you down and making you feel tired and feel depressed and feel unhappy, because that's what forgiveness does exactly. You hold on to that and you just become more depressed, more angry. It just stirs in your soul more and more that what these people did was so wrong and they need to be repaid for it. And ultimately, there's nothing you can do. These people have to learn that what they did was wrong for themselves, and they have to be the ones to feel remorse for it and to take steps towards apologizing and admitting that what they did was wrong. So you cannot let yourself be weighed down because other people won't do that. You have to let go. So write them a note. Write a note for yourself, just forgiving them and releasing them and explaining that you're not going to hold on to that weight anymore, that you're releasing it and letting it go, because that's what you deserve. You as a person, you don't deserve to go around holding that in your heart. And yeah, they might have done some awful stuff like I can't even imagine. But for your own sake, you need to forgive them and let them go. Like I said, if you need to write down and fill a whole book up with your forgiveness to them, then that's what you need to do. Because ultimately you need to let go of that so that you can be the best and happiest version of yourself. We're not our best and happiest when we are carrying around that weight in our hearts of that pain and that hurt that we had to go through and that we had to face. And so that is my biggest challenge for you all in this video, is just write that letter. Type it out and send it to the person. If that's what you need to do, then do that. Or sit down and have a conversation with them and let them know how they hurt you. Because some people, honestly, they might not even know that they hurt you like that, because everyone's so different. So what hurts us might not be considered painful to someone else. Or they might hurt you and they don't think it's a big deal. They were joking, or they didn't mean it like that, or it was a misunderstanding somehow. And so if you just sit down and talk with them and take that time, then you can see if they were really doing that on purpose or if it was just a misunderstanding. And either way, you can get closure like that, and you all could make up and become friends. You never really know what God can do when you just give it all up and you say, I'm not going to hold on to this weight anymore. I'm letting this go. This is not who I am. This is not who I want to be. I don't want to go around living my life so sad and broken and holding a grudge when whoever did the stuff to me is just going around living their life, not even thinking about it. So, like I said, my challenge is definitely write that letter, talk to that person, meet with them for lunch. You know, do whatever it takes just to get that unforgiveness off of your heart and let it go so that you can be free to be who you really were meant to be and be your happiest and be the most full of joy that you've ever been in your life. And so that is my biggest encouragement for you all today. Just forgive and forget. And maybe even if you don't forget, then fully forgive and let go of that weight. And just work towards forgetting the hurt and the pain and replacing that with positive things and with positive people in your life that uplift you. Or if you can talk to the person that hurt you and just talk out your forgiveness with them, then replace what they did before with that. Replace it with the forgiveness that you all had for each other. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video and to talk with me on this beautiful Monday. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel so that you can see all of the videos that I post after this. I hope that you all have a wonderful week, and God bless.